So my dudes, Valkyrja with Dancing Kafka to go ahead and point out to you guys today on how broken Fuxuan is and can she function as a solo healer, which I'm going to spoil for you. Yes, I believe she can. I'm going to explain why in a bit, and I have quadruple checked this stuff, so if I miss something dumb again, I'm going to be really mad at myself because I've checked a bunch to make sure everything I have here is very accurate, and it's going to explain very well on why Fuxuan can literally replace any Abundance character unless you're running her with characters that suck up their own HP and push themselves past breaking points that she can no longer functionally keep up with. But if you have her in a regular team, you have her with normal units who function normally, she's going to be really, really good. She's going to be able to fully do everything. She's going to buff up crit rate, she's going to tank, she's going to heal, she's going to effectively do it all in one package and one unit, allowing you to push as hyper carry units, allowing you to push hyper carry units even further, allowing you to push like Clara teams, like if you have Clara plus another damage, you have off damage plus main damage, allowing you to push those teams even further. She's just going to be absolutely insane, and she's going to be a Swiss Army knife of a preservation unit. So let's go into it, let's go into her kit, let's see what makes her tick. First off, she does max HP instead of attack like every other character. So this is just a nice little quality of life. I don't think it's going to matter too much. I think her damage is pretty negligible no matter how you cut it. I don't think she's going to have very good damage, so I'm just going to kind of ignore that. The bread and butter of her kit activates Matrix Appreciates. Other team members will apportion 65% of the damage they receive before this damage is mitigated by any shields to Fuxuan for 3 turns. All team members are affected by Matrix Appreciates and gain a knowledge effect which increases their respective max HP by 6% of Fuxuan's max HP and increases crit rate by 12%. And whenever she dies, the Matrix Appreciate goes away. Very, very, very strong ability. Traces here. Very important. Her traces are very, very, very important. When Matrix Appreciate is active, Fuxuan will generate 20 extra energy when she uses her skill. So she'll regenerate 50 energy as skill, which matters because 135 energy. Very, very important to note. If enemies attempt to apply crowd control debuffs to allies while the Matrix Appreciate is active, all allies will resist all crowd control debuffs applied by the enemy target during the current action. This effect can only be triggered once. This ability is broken. This trace is insane. I don't think I need to tell you how insane the ability to just block a debuff is. Very, very good. There's very few situations I can see where this isn't going to single-handedly just beat out any cleansing, right? This is what's better than cleansing, is just not letting it happen at all. It is very, very strong. I could think maybe Simu Kafka phase 2 and 3 where she applies multiple debuffs at the same time. This could be something, or if it procs due to an enemy trying to apply wind shear or burn, that could be a big issue if it tries to remove the DOTs. But it says crowd control debuff specifically, so I don't think it's going to trigger on DOTs, so it's just a matter of seeing exactly how it works. I think it's very specific in how it works. I think it's going to be immobilize, MOC 10 with the Forgotten Shadows. I think that's going to be what it really procs against, and if it works exactly like that, that's very, very big, and this is going to be very strong. Her Ascension 6 is so damn good. So next we get into her ultimate. Deals quantum damage equal to 100% of max HP to all enemies and obtains 1 trigger count for the HP restoration from her talent. This is the big part, is HP restoration. Very, very, very big. This is a very big part of it, and whenever her ultimate is used, heals all other allies by Fuxuan's max HP plus 133, or 5% of Fuxuan's max HP plus 133. This is what we're going to be centering the build around, funnily enough, is that 5%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but we'll get into why it's going to be good here in a second. Next up is the talent, Restore. While Fuxuan has not been knocked down, Misfortune Avoidance is applied to the entire team. While affected by Avoidance, allies take 18% less damage. HP Restore will be triggered whenever her full HP falls below 50%. This effect will restore her HP by 90% of the amount of HP she's currently missing. This effect cannot be triggered if she receives a killing blow. This effect possesses 1 triggered count by default and can possess up to 2 trigger counts maximum. Really, really, really good. So basically what this means is that if she just goes below 50%, she's just going to essentially full heal, especially with the healing build that I'm going to show you guys. So then we have her technique. After technique is used, all team members receive a barrier lasting for 20 seconds. This barrier can block all enemy attacks, and the team will not enter battle when attacked. And after blah 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 blah. Man, I swear, sometimes English is so hard. Entering battle while the barrier is active will have Fuxuan automatically activate Matrix of Prescience at the start of the battle, lasting 2 turns. Very strong technique because you get your Matrix going much faster. Pretty damn good. So then we get into her traces. She gives herself a lot of crit rate, which is weird because I feel like they wanted her to do damage, but if they wanted her to do damage, then it's just, I just don't think she's going to, personally. I don't think, no matter how you do it, she's going to be able to deal damage herself outside of maybe break effect, because quantum break is very strong. You can do damage that way, but as far as personal damage, I just don't see it really happening. But then we get an HP boost. She gets 18% max HP, which is really nice, and she has some effect resistance, which is also pretty good. Effect res, 10% effect res. Having effect res is also always really nice. So that is her traces. Now her Eidolons, really her E6 is not the best, but her E4 is very good. Her E1 and 2 are both really good. So we're going to get into the build. So I went ahead and I did all the math. Like you can see, Fuxuan healing build, and I made sure to make it very clear and compare some healing setups to see exactly how much healing she's going to get from self-healing as far as just healing the team, etc. And this is something that you have to consider, is the fact that she's going to be taking 65% of the damage that the team receives, as well as she's immediately reducing damage the team receives by 18%. So it's not only is it like team-wide damage reduction, but she's also reducing the amount of damage after that by 65% as well. So she's going to be absorbing a ton of damage. So this is really good for her, because it allows her to go into what I want to say is a healing build. And now, like I said, in my opinion, I do think that she can function as the solo sustain unit for the team. So now for the build, we're going to be rocking the Herder Shop Light Cone Texture of Memories. We're going to be having Fleet of the Ageless. We're going to be having Longevious Disciple. Both give max HP by 12%. And then we're going to be having 2-piece of Longevious Disciple and 2-piece of the healing set, which increases outgoing healing by 10%. So all in all, we're going to be rocking a good 24% max HP from both those sets. And our main stats are going to be outgoing healing percent on chest, speed on the boots, HP on the planar sphere, HP on the robe. Good substats to focus on are going to be speed primarily, because more turns, more uptime and Matrix of Prescience, and you can also activate it again if you need to generate skill points, if you're in need of emergency heals, etc. Although the only person who should ever be needing heals is Fuxuan. HP, obviously, if you're building a main HP character with a lot of HP subs are very good. All of her numbers today are not counting HP subs, so that's something to consider. Break effect. Quantum has a very strong break. Break effect will be a good sub. Plain simple. Break effect is very nice. Effect resistance is a substat if you get. It's not terrible, but it's nice, but it's not really needed. As long as MOP is active, Matrix of Prescience is active, it remains active even if she gets CC'd, as long as she is alive and her trace blocks 1 CC anyways. So MOP is probably going to be just always on. It's never going to really have a time off. She could potentially be an issue versus Sim 2 or Sim U Kafka Phase 2 and 3. Like I said before, Kafka Phase 2 and 3, she applies multiple debuffs, multiple hard crowd control debuffs at the exact same time to multiple members of your team. Could end up being an issue in that regard. Her ult is 135, she regens 50 energy, a skill due to trace. Is just information to consider, because all of the healing, team-centric healing, is based around her ultimate. So then we get into the HP numbers. Here you have the base HP plus Simu Light Cone is 2533, and now we go and we use this number to feed into everything else. So the 2-piece set that we're getting from the 12%, it's 303.96. And then main stat relics, we get 1094 from that, and then the HP from the traces is 456, for a total number of HP of 5784.92 with all of this setup. And then the amount of healing from the trace is 5% plus 133. Outgoing healing percent is going to be 44.56, for total heals from trace for ultimate being 610. Now 610 normally is 1/5 of a regular character's HP bar. I feel like she's going to be ulting pretty often, probably once every 3 turns. So, as long as she's able to absorb enough damage, which I'm going to assume she can, because, like I said, 18% damage reduction, 65% appropriation or absorption, whatever you want to call it. It's going to basically keep her team healthy enough to where that 610 is going to be pretty big. And then self-healing, assuming she's missing 3k, which 3k is a little bit more than half, she's going to always self-heal for more HP than she has, as long as she has her passive stacks. So basically, she's immortal, essentially. She's going to be very tanky, she's going to have lots of health, and she's going to be very hard to kill. So then we're going to verse it versus the healing versus all HP main stats. Same setup, everything's the exact same. We're just swapping the HP, speed, HP. So we get one extra 1094 here for a total HP of 68, 78.92. And then total heals from Trace per Ultimate go down to 524. So you're not healing nearly as much. This number is literally regardless because self-healing doesn't really, like I said, plus 10%. So if you're missing 3k HP, you're healing for 33k. That are 3.3k, excuse me. All right, 3,300. Yeah, 3.3k. So just 10% into that. You factor in the 18% damage reduction, 65% damage appropriation. Like I said, TLDR, in my opinion, yes, she can function as a main tank and a healer due to damage reduction and amount of healing generated and energy restored to keep ult up more, making her a functional all-in-one unit, Swiss Army knife of a tank. She does literally everything. Note, she more than likely will not be able to solo sustain for Blade. She will need assistance in that regard, Lynx/Locha. Both very good options to help her keep with Blade, but I think if you run her, you should be running Lynx anyways, because then Lynx can put the target on Blade, which is really nice if you're running her with Blade. But I just don't recommend running her with Blade because she can solo sustain, but she's not enough sustain to keep Blade up. However, for the Mono Quantum team, a lot of people are wanting to make, you could actually not run Lynx with that and instead run Gamba Girls. So you could have Seela, Gamba Girls, Silverwolf, and Fuxuan. And you'll have a pretty fun team there. Pretty fun, pretty strong. I don't see them running into too many issues because they just would stomp everything, which is Quantum. Anyways, that's basically the video. I wanted to share you guys my thoughts on Fuxuan. How good is Fuxuan as a main tank? Absolutely absurd. How good is Fuxuan as a healer? She's definitely good enough to forego healing, in my opinion. I think it's enough to actually sustain the entire team if you build her into her healing. I think it actually makes a good difference, and I think she's able to keep people alive. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.